Alright, so welcome back. So in the last video, I showed you how to carve to this point, which is carving the nose and the bottom of the eyes. And in this video, I'm going to show you how to carve eyes. So for eyes, you can do multiple different ways. You can just do it like this, which is kind of a more realistic style of carving eyes. You can do it like this, which is more of a cartoony style of carving eyes. Or, if I move my camera, you can do this. Now this is more of a, I don't know if there's an exact name for it, but I'm going to call it improving for eyes. So if you actually look at it, there's actually no actual physical eyes carved out in it, but it has a impression of an eyes. The shadow kind of makes it look like the eyebrows in a way are covering it. So, the best way I can describe it is kind of like, if you ever seen those cartoon characters where the bushy eyebrows kind of cover their eyes, that's kind of like that. But yeah, so, and this is old carving, but today I'm going to show you how to do a more realistic style of carving eyes, which is this. And it's pretty basic. It takes a little bit of practice, but once you get it down, you got it. So how I do it is, and by the way, if you want to see how I carved to this point, the video's in my channel, so you can go check that part out. But for carving the next step, so carving the eyes, what I do is I take my pencil and I go about maybe halfway. I don't really have an exact method. I just go in and draw in the eyes. Something like that. For putting like how far down the face you go or how close up, honestly, I don't really have a, like, you have to go 2/3 up the nose or 2/3 or 3/4 the way down the nose and then start your eye. I don't have anything like that. It's just kind of improving. Draw it on there. Does it look right? Does it look like an eye can be there? And I just go with it. So in this case, I got my first eye, which is just drawing it in. Make sure it's round, not straight. So it's kind of oval-like. And then, since you want your eyes to be symmetrical and even, oops, my camera's not focusing. So you want it symmetrical, so even on both sides, so they look the same. What I do is I try to get where the bottom of the eye starts here, try to get on the other side. So, bottom of the eye starts there, so it starts somewhere around here. That looks somewhat even. And then I'll just take my pencil. And just draw it in. Then when I got it drawn in, both eyes, I make sure they look even. They look about the same. And I'm going to say, there. So, it's just pretty much eyeballing it. It's taking your time, make sure it looks about even. And, yeah. So that's how I draw on my eyes. So after I do that, I take my knife. Especially when you're doing eyes, I'm going to say, make sure your knife is sharp. Because you don't want to slip and then carve up and then it'll mess up your whole eye. So make sure your knife is nice and sharp. And always make sure you're wearing your glove. But the first step I do is I take my knife and I just press inward around the line. And make sure you're going the outside of the line, not the inside, on the outside. Right. There you go. So with this part, definitely take your time because you don't want it to slip and cut off your eye. But you're just going to go from the bottom and press upward to where the eye is. You want to stop right at or right before the line. You can try also going upward, like I'm doing here. Expand eyebrow a little bit. Press back inward. All right, there we go. So, right now we have this eye, which if you look at it, is above the surface. So basically we made the eye pop upward. So what we're gonna do now is we're just gonna take our knife and we're gonna round that edge over. We're just gonna use small, gentle ones, because if you look at this eye, the finished one, it's small little indents, small little rounding. So that is what we're gonna do now. So we're just gonna take our knife and just round it all over. I'm just gonna say, take your time when you're rounding it. Take your time just period when you're doing the eyes. Because like when I was carving upward, if I slipped and I carved part of the eye off, then that's gonna mess up the whole thing. So definitely take your time, be patient, and just have fun. Okay, there we go. Now you can see with my eye, it's now nice and round over. And if you look at it, it looks a lot more natural. So now, this is a little bit extra detail, but if you look at our the carving right now, if you look at the corner and where the top of it is, it's all flat. But what we want to do is make it look more natural. And if you look at like this finished eye, if you look at it, it's actually slightly rounded inward, both here and here. So it's actually slightly rounded, and it makes it a lot more natural looking eye. So how you do that is very simple. You just press inward right along here. Not pressing it a lot, just pressing a little. And then you're just gonna take a small little bite out of it. You're just gonna take your knife at an angle and just take a small little corner out of it. Like that. Just like that. See how I made it nice and round? And that's what you're gonna do up here as well. Now, when you do this, do very small bites out of it, because you don't want to do too much, because otherwise it's gonna look really off. You just want to make a small little cut. And then just take kind of the corner off, the corner of the eye. And there we go. There we go. So now that looks a lot more of a natural eye, kind of natural looking eye. Now the last thing I'm gonna do is, if you look at this eye, it has a slight kind of point up to here. Well, if you look at your eye, it's not like that. It's more circular. Well, actually, it's more oval-like, but it doesn't have this all-of-a-sudden one point here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to take a slight corner off of this part right here where my knife edge is, or the edge of my knife is. I'm just going to take that and I'm just going to cut it off just to make it a little bit more natural looking. And there we go. We now have an eye. So that is how I carve my eyes. Now, like I said at the beginning of the videos, there's multiple different ways. You can do more of a cartoony style. There's most likely there's different carvers have different styles of carving eyes. But for me, if I'm trying to like make this kind of a more realistic looking eye, especially for wood spirits, this is how I carve them. Now, if you have a different style or you see someone else do it, you want to do it a different way, by all means do it. Just do the way that works for you. And on it, but if this works, great. But yeah, that's how I carve my eyes. So I'm going to cut the video here. And I'm going to off-cam carve the other side of the eye. But if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, subscribe if you want to, and I hope you all have a good day. Bye.